Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's reading is going to be how to make a positive shift in your life. You have got three choices, three very Halloweeny choices. For number one, you have got the spider. For number two, you have got the bat. And for number three, you have got the purple monster. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll get going. Okay, pile number one. This has got a very specific feeling, and it's finding your voice. To be honest, there you are, you're done. You don't need to watch anymore. It's finding your voice. There is a guy I was watching on YouTube, and I thought, oh, he sounds really good. The things he's saying, the way he talks, and I realised that I'd read his book, but I've forgotten his name. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. And this is what your pile is. There's a feeling here of feminine energy in your life blocking you in some way, whether it, I don't say it's mother because that's probably the automatic thought there, but it could be. But there's a feeling here that you find out, because you've got here in the centre the Knight of Swords, and you've got here the Sun down here, the other people around you, and you worried about what they're thinking. And this has got a feeling that you don't care. It's like the biggest change that's going to happen to you, most positive shift that you're going to get is through, and I think you're already in the process of this from these cards here, is that you end up, and you're already in the process of not really being as sweet as you thought you always needed to be. And this, the Knight of Swords, which is to do with communication, and this Cobra Python-y thing, looking at all the little people watching, and it's like you talking your truth, who you are in front of people that disagree, and the Sun down here is that you're shining doing it. It doesn't really matter if people disagree with you. What's important to you, and to make this positive change, is for you to know that you're saying what you believe is right at that moment, and not everybody else will agree with you. But we all go through different processes of finding our own truth. You've got cards here of blockages, and you've got the Empress card here, which is making me think of femininity and blockages with regards to being allowed to speak. So I don't know as a child whether you were, depends on your age as well, I often think, whether as a child you were not really given a voice. Which I always think, is so different from when I was young. We were all kept quiet. We were all told, that basically don't talk if adults were in the room, and which I always find difficult because I'm a teacher, and sometimes, you go to jobs and you get interviewed by the kids nowadays. I'm thinking, oh, that's changed. But you've got here I'm going to say King of Pisces there. What on earth am I talking about? You've got here the High Priestess, who is the King of Pisces, the Kingess of Pisces here with the Ten of Pentacles. So what would that be? Okay. This has got a very strong feeling. You've got the Five of Wands twice. You've got it at the end. You've got it here. You've got it under speech. You've got it under you recognising being yourself and expressing yourself at what point you're at the moment. And doing it with a Sun card here, it's got warmth. It's like glee. It's not like... That's one thing that, speaking your truth doesn't mean you have to be complete shit. It doesn't mean by having a very strong opinion and a negative opinion and being able to voice it. That may be part of it, but that's not really a positive way to do it. This has got a feeling of that you express yourself, what you're thinking at the moment, in a way that is not negative towards others, but may oppose their views. With the High Priestess here and the Empress card here with the blocked card here, I do wonder whether a mother had a very strong impression on your life, or sometimes you disagreed and you learnt how to keep quiet with this. Not the Five of Wands underneath this. The reason that I think you may be in the process of unraveling your true self at the moment is because you've got here the Nine of Pentacles and you've with the Ace of Pentacles underneath it. So to me, I'm thinking an actual structure, something that's real in the world at the moment, where you're actually displaying yourself in a very independent way and unraveling something. So maybe you found a job or a career or a hobby that allows you to express yourself, your thoughts and your opinions, and that is helping you to find your voice, because this is basically what this whole spread is about. Making your most positive shift in your life is finding your voice, whether with these pentacle cards you get paid for it or whether it's just you at the moment. It's got a very sweet feeling, it's got a very innocent feeling of somebody who may possibly give everybody else the benefit of the doubt but not yourself. That you wait to hear what other people have said, but they don't wait to hear what you've got to say, and you've let that go on too long. Not that there's a strong feeling here, the Sun card here, is not to go ranting or expressing yourself is being fighty or arrogant or ignorant. It's more a case of just being part of the group and allowing yourself to stand up and say your piece. Is going to make a huge shift inside yourself. There's a feeling of self-worth in here where you possibly feel that, well, I haven't got that much to offer anyway. Very strange how different people come across. I went out last night with a friend who comes across as extremely shy. She's got very, very timid, small voice, very elegant, very pretty. Not that makes a difference, but she doesn't look like Fiona out of Shrek. She doesn't, she just is. What I would say is like appears timid, but she just isn't. But she gives a different impression. I wonder whether you, I don't know. I suppose what I was going to say is it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. This has got more to do with maybe what you've got to share with people is very much needed. You've got the Hangman over here, you've got the High Priestess here, you've got work that you've been doing on yourself to do with communication. You're standing up in front of people, sharing yourself in a way that's warm and open, even if you think that it could be not a common held belief or opinion or thought, and that you're going to have some sort of lashback or comeback. There's a feeling here as well with the Empress card and the Four of Pentacles here that you wouldn't normally do this because you don't like people's disapproval, or you haven't liked it, or that you've had to put up with it when you were young and you don't particularly enjoy the circumstance. But there's a feeling here of it's the time to do it. It's the time to be able to wrap everything together, every thought, every feeling, every uncomfortable situation you've ever had with women in your life. The women bit is quite strong here. Every intuitive thought, or whatever you've worked on behind the scenes, or whatever you've observed, has amalgamated into you having what I guess is a different view and a different opinion, or viewpoint that a lot of other people, but that is very much needed. And to make a shift in your life is to be able to express that in a way that helps others with the Empress card here, that allows other people to feel like that they can say what they feel is their truth, as long as they do it in a way that isn't putting other people down, that allows other people. The Sun card allows everybody else to be who they want to be, because they're not interested in anybody else. They're interested in expressing themselves only, and that is where you need to come from to make this shift in your life. Let me just get an advice card here. Oh my god, this keeps coming up. The Four of Cups is, to me, with your spread, it would be like finding your passion. It's like finding how to express yourself in a way that feels good for you, not from past experiences, not from parental expectations, not from a track that you think you should be going down, but in a way that makes you feel happy. To make a big shift in your life, you need to know who you are, and what you've got to say, and what you want, what legacy you want to leave behind you, not with regards to kids or finances, but with regards to what stamp you want to make on the world with yourself and with your soul. Being you and being confident that that is you. And it doesn't mean that you can't shift. It doesn't mean it has to be a decision. It's just you at the moment. How far you've gone, how far your journey's gone, who you want to be, where you want to go. Just all the possibilities, probabilities leading up to this point, and you being able to stand up and express that to other people. You feel soft to me. That's when I was talking about that friend. You feel soft and a gentle person that waits for other people to give their opinion first. Or sometimes when you're out having, like, you're at meals, or you're with more extroverted people, or that you get spoken over a lot or talked over a lot, and you sit back and you wait, and then you try again and you get it happens again, because there's a softness, there's a psychic and intuitive feeling here, and the shift needs to be for you to make the most positive year ahead, let's say, is to be able to speak up, is what I would say here. To find your voice in whichever way feels right for you, whether it is a financial move, whether it's talking about something that you're passionate about, or following a hobby. It's just to do with your voice and self-expression, and not giving a F about what anybody else thinks. What is that guy's name? I didn't read his book, I listened to it. Because you could have had quite an oppressive female person around you, possibly with the Empress card there when you were a child or growing up. So that is what I've got, pile number 1. Express yourself. Say your truth, whatever it is at the moment. Say it gently, but say it clearly, and allow other people to disagree, and know that it's not against you if somebody disagrees. It just is them voicing their truth, and we're all allowed to. But I think the secret in here is, don't use that. I don't think you will at all. But I suppose this is, there's no, finding your truth doesn't mean it's an excuse to be negative, because we need a little bit less of that, to be honest. No, we don't need false optimism or false, lovey-doveys. We just need to be able to strike a middle ground. Okay, I'm going to leave that there, pile number 1. I hope that helps in some way. It'd be really interesting to know in the comments if you have had experiences in your past that have quietened you, whether you've got something up your sleeve that you're going to do where you're gaining your confidence, which you've done slowly over here, and just generally anything about how you're going to express yourself in the near future, because this is like a green light to go for it. And it feels to me, like somebody, it's like don't take this the wrong way, but it's like the little duckling that comes out of the reeds and turns into a swan in this pile here. So that, I think, is how you will shift positively. And that is just owning yourself in a very gentle but very confident way. That you're like the quiet one that comes up on the inside lane. Okay, pile number 1. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay, how to make a positive shift in your life, pile number 2. This has got a feeling, it won't be this, but it may be this, of a cottage industry. I don't know if that's rude. You've got the Mother of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles twice in the central pile here, and you've got the 3 of Wands as well. So that could be working as part of a team, or working with people, or in a group situation, and doing something to do with finances, or a home situation, or even Queen of Pentacles twice. So that's right in my face, and that's to do with balance, security, finances, how to make a shift. Then you've got cards here again of stability. You've got cards here of starting something new and insight and ending. Okay, I think that inside yourself, finances, work is going to be important over the next 6 months. There's a feeling here that you already know this. There's a feeling here that you may have already gained some stability or be looking for stability or starting something fresh. You don't want something that's going to be wavery or that you can't that you can't actually, what's the word, rely on. This is like movement. It all feels as if this grows into something else, but I would say about 6 months away. It feels like you've got some idea. It feels like you're looking for some sort of financial stability, maybe where you don't feel stable in your house or your home or your work situation. You're looking for balance. This is that very earthy pile, and then you almost get an idea or a thought or things start moving in 6 months' time where you hit the nail on the head. So to make a shift inside yourself is to the Queen of Pentacles twice with the balanced triangle there, is to lay the foundations and make sure that you're on even keel. There is also a feeling here with regards to probably financial threats in the world at the moment, is to make sure that which is a strange thing to say in a reading, that your debt is paid off as much as possible. If you've got mortgage and you've got money that needs to be shifted around, there's a real feeling of doing that here, which I know is a weird thing to say in the middle of how is your life, how can you shift your life positively, but this has all got to do with stability and finances and work, and finding a stable ground to be able to move into something that may come into your life in the near future. I think that you probably feel that change is coming. I feel that you possibly, with the Mother of Pentacles twice, the Ace of Pentacles here, and the Four of Wands, which I always interpret as a stable card anyway, that you've got insight here with the King of Cups, with the Eye in the centre, that something is going to change soon. So you could be very interested in finances and investment anyway, to be honest, with these cards here. If you are, this would definitely be, and I know there is somebody on Patreon who's very interested in, I don't understand this myself because I'm not good with money, the rhythm of the financial market, whatever that means. And this would be his spread, because it's like he knows what's coming and he knows how to tap into it to maybe give advice or to be able to make sure that he's comfortable in his own situation, probably both, or to be able to set some new system up for when the economy changes, to take advantage of that. And you often see that. I mean, I know people who have made themselves into billionaires through doing things through timing. There was something we were talking about, I don't know. I know a man who, my dad knew a man who did fire extinguishers just as they were made legal to have them, or they had to have them in your homes. And I know he made a lot of money through that. And somebody was talking to me over the weekend where timing, which is the same in here, saying this power was a factor. And I think timing's a factor for you with regards to finances, money, stability in this, and it's going to happen in the near future. You've got to set yourself in a situation where you're open to the opportunity, the possibility, whether it's personal to do with your own finances or whether it's a work situation, as with the person on Patreon who works in money. You can see I don't know I'm talking about who works in money. What is that? It feels like a brainwave that somebody has with regards to either moving forward themselves and setting themselves up and taking advantage of a particular situation that you can sense already over here. It does feel like a stock market crash. As you can tell, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to money, but it does actually feel like being in the right place at the right time when everything falls. And what the situation that we're in the moment has been like foretold 10, 15 years ago. is a case of like everything collapses, and you can feel it. I go into lots of different work situations, and you can feel, because I work in schools, and you can feel the schools, you know, fall into pieces. They go under like different umbrellas of different groups, and it's not so centralized, and people are scrabbling, and you get people coming in who are just like more business-like than, you know, with the children, and can be great in some ways, in other ways not so great. There's just a lot of change going on, and you are really in the center of this, and you are calm, and you are focused, and you've got it sorted. So if you don't know anything about finances, this would be saying to you to make the best shift you can in your life. The most positive shift is to keep yourself stable, get yourself financially comfortable, to be able to grab an opportunity that comes up, whether it's somebody that comes towards you with a suggestion, or whether it possibly could be yourself. But it feels like in the next 6 months you find yourself in a really happy situation, a really comfortable situation. If you've got earth in you, this is like music to your ears, but you know already what's going on. If you have investments or something that you know is timely, that needs to be basically built up and given out at a certain time, it's like keep going with that and keep yourself in the know. Like keep, you know, this is like a very wise feeling here of something that you've already started. I don't know what I'm talking about with regards to money and stability, but this definitely has this feeling here that you probably do. If you've got Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus inside you, somewhere in there, you know, even on the MC, it could even be to do with buildings, you know, to do with like house sales as well. It's like time it right, be clever with it, because it could end up in a situation that really pays off in a 6 months time or not. Take the sensible choice, the sensible decision. Put money before anything. You don't hear me say that. It's like put finances first, and do the sensible thing. It's a very rare thing to hear me say, but this pile screams that. So for you to make a positive shift in the near future is to watch, wait, stable, no quick mad decisions, no flying away, you know, like all sails to the window, whatever the term is. It's like cover your bases, plan it carefully, keep yourself financially secure, know where you're going, and then strike later on when you feel like you're in the right place. And you will know because of this card and this card. It's like awareness from the magician is bright, and it's like wait, hold out, and then it will all come to you. So if that means anything to you, that's going to be the best way to make your shift. And that is very sort of astute, very earthy, very watching, very much keep it calm. This is somebody who dabbles in money, whatever that means. I'm going to say Bitcoin. No idea what it is, but I have an idea, but I don't. It's that type of shares, investments, whether it's, you know, in money that's invisible, or that's what I think it is, or whether it's in a business or a house. It's financial and it's stable and it's wait your time to have the best, most positive impact in your life in the near future. It's like just watch and wait and keep it calm, and then it will all come out, and you'll know when is the right time to take your money out, express yourself, start something new. I don't know which way it will take, but that's what I've got. Pile number 2. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. This has got a feeling of very Halloweenish. It's to delve into your dark side, find out where your hiccups are, and work through them in a way that may almost make you feel like you're purging. It's clarity, it's honesty, it's being raw with yourself, it's being pain. It could be painful, but it's searching and it's knowing and understanding, and it comes out of what I feel here. You come out of a quagmire, and you find your heart again. Yeah, I know that sounds really sort of like some sort of corny thing I've just made up, but I will explain to you why. Your central pile has got the shadow self in it with the King of Swords. The King of Swords is your mental ability and its clarity. The shadow self is the dark parts of ourselves that we all have that we find quite disgusting, and sometimes we hide them. We said lots of time we hide them. The Seven of Cups is like you're not really sure how to pinpoint it, so it feels like you go through some sort of process, whether it's just everyday living where you start to be more honest with yourself or more aware or more cutting with yourself until you're very, very clear. No different from anybody else, but there definitely is that feeling here. You've got here in the past a feeling of somebody that's searching. You've got pain here possibly with the Three of Swords. You've got the ability of possibly not acknowledging it or not owning up to it or wanting to brush it under the carpet with the High Priestess here. You've got so many cards of what I feel are like intuitive, observant, but not moving forward. At the bottom here, High Priestess, the Seven of Cups and the Hangman here. And you've got cards here of that shadow self in the centre with the King of Cups. It's like the time is ripe to really know yourself, warts and all, and to be honest and open and realise that we're all basically, average person is very much the same. And we all struggle with ourselves. We all, life is tough, and I think it's meant to be tough so that we gain more awareness. And it is really hard at times. And to go through this is like, it can be quite fearful. And I think it's fearful possibly because we think that we are deep down revolting. All of us, I think, somehow may feel there's part of that in us. But to me with these, you may already be on some sort of form of meditation or self-expression or looking inside yourself in some way. That this could be a process with the High Priestess here, that you're already in it and you could be on the dip. You know, the bit where you actually think, where you acknowledge or you accept yourself in some way, where you bring up things and it's like, it is like a purging. To me it feels almost like, I've seen people go through this. This spread here feels a bit like Pluto on your IC, where every revolting thing you've done or thought or experience that you've had almost comes back to you in every dream or in your everyday life where you feel like you hit rock bottom. But you know, Pluto, as hard as it is normally your friend because it allows you to be more, and Scorpionic people are like this, they are painfully honest with themselves. And this has got the, for you to move forward is going to be through, it feels like it's like Dark Night of the Soul type of painfully honest moment where you think, crikey, this is hard. But as you move on, there's understanding here with the Hangman. You've got here, you turn into the Queen of Cups, so it is more gentle with yourself, more, you're kinder with regards to how you sit in life. And the indecision that you had before with regards to where you're going in life, how you express yourself, who you are, what you think of yourself, turns into the Knight of Pentacles here through this searching and maybe a little bit of self-hate here. To the Knight of Pentacles, sorry, I just said that, where it's like you're moving forward now. It's like acceptance and movement, and it's like clarity and honesty and openness. So for you to be able to move forward, it feels like you go on a bit of a roller coaster ride where you decide to go on a journey, then you go down before you come up. But that, to me, it feels is where the rewards are in there. Some people can skate along the surface, you know, for a long period of time and not make any inroads whatsoever. I think this is a pile of bravery and insight, and I'd rather drown for a short period of time to be able to come out and see the fresh air, if you know what I mean here. And then when you do it, it feels like you're more giving with yourself, you're more giving with other people. This to me feels a little bit as if you could have spent quite a period of time being inward, looking inwards, and forgetting everything else around you. and I don't want to say depressed, but I mean inwards. You know, when you get up in the morning and your first thought is yourself. What you're going to do, or what were you thinking last night, or what did somebody say to you? And it's like it almost moves into acceptance of yourself and self-love, and then outwards. It's like it moves out into the world and giving and being a little bit more here, but still with knowing. So not an easy journey for you to be able to move forward and find your most positive part of your life or yourself. It's like a little bit of a bumpy ride, and I think we all have these periods. Nobody escapes this, and there's always that old myth, story, whatever it is. And I always remember, I think, of transits. I must have read it about 20 years ago, where there was this guy who decided to hide from his Pluto transit or something like that. So he stood upside. I don't know if this is mixed up with something my cousin told me when I was about 10. It may be. So he decided to stand with his head upside down in poo for a year or two. And then this Buddha type person said to him, "Oh, well, did you think you avoided your Pluto transit?" "Yeah, I did." So, "No, you just had your head in poo for a year or two." It's that type of thing. It's like we all go through it, but it's by being hard on ourselves and acknowledging those bits in ourselves that we have failed on, or we feel that we've failed on. And it's very difficult, I think, today with public media, that we get people... Public media, is that even a word or two words? What is it? I don't know. It's that people present an outward exterior of everything's like great and gleeful, and we're all, everything's fine and we look good, and here we are abroad with our, I don't know, flat stomachs, and life just isn't really like that. And I think that you know that, and you're quite brave and ready to be able to look back at something disgusting or revolting that you say revolting 3 times now, that you did to a boyfriend when you were 18. Perhaps you were rude or obnoxious to somebody, and you just ignored it and put it under the carpet. It's like you bring that out and you look at it and you think, okay, that was me then. No excuses. I'm not going to do that again. And where do you end at the end of this? Far better place than so many other people who are still skating on the surface. So this pile number 3, to be is a bigger positive shift than any of the other piles, but a harder process to get there. There's a feeling here of a lot of internal work. I'm not saying that you go into meditation or that you go into something where you go through a process, but that could be it. But it's more a case of just being honest with yourself, and where you want to be and who you want to be, and what things you need to let go, and what things your best positive points to bring forward. And it feels like you may go through a week or two of feeling down, but then that is where the sun starts coming out. And what you do after this is that you start moving steadily forward in a way that is more self-acceptance, more acceptance of others. And I always say, I don't know if I always say it, but in every time I do astrology, I keep thinking the best thing about astrology is that not the prediction or anything like that, it's the tolerance for others. That we're sort of a certain makeup, and we see people who aren't us, and we're naturally attracted to people that are us. That aren't us, and we can't really associate with them, but it's just like it's easier to see people's energy, and it's different. So you get to a point here where you're just very sort of relaxed with other people's opinions, other people's thoughts. There's no anger. I'm not saying you're angry, but there isn't any here. The Queen of Cups is just open, loving, kind and considerate, and moving forward in a way with understanding here. More flexible, I think, as well, is your way forward. But this is a very, very brave, courageous pile, and that is your way forward. You already started your journey because you've probably felt some disruption or something that you're not happy with. Maybe it's somehow somebody acted to you and you want to stand your ground. I don't know. But there's a lot of soul searching down here. There's a lot of going underneath the surface, clarity, you know, total honesty here, a movement more towards a more heartfelt sense of living, a more steady sense of living. And the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups here reminds me of that line as well, then we live our lives in quiet desperation. And you don't do that in this pile here as you move on. Maybe this pile you've decided that you want to give it up. This pile you're in the middle of it, which will probably be part of the process. And this pile here is like, you're not desperate. You're not living it quietly there, sitting in the corner, waiting for things to be okay, or just wanting not to cry. This is like you're living it forward with a sense of self and a sense of bravery. Lovely pile. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Pile number 3, and I'm going to say happy Halloween and bye. Bye. Bye.